This episode of Dad is Not a Noun. I want to thank today's sponsor, the Real Dads Network, 11th annual Real Dads Network Daddy Daughter Dance. When we empower fathers, we strengthen the family. And no better way to represent this than through a daddy daughter dance, where traditions are carried on and new tradition begins. Get your tickets fast before it sells out for this amazing Girl Dad Gala, the 11th annual Daddy Daughter Dance, February 18th, 2023 in Harlem, New York. Go to the website www.daddydaughter11.eventbrite.com.
Give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, hopping down. Cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
For me, soul food is mama's cooking. It is a touch of love, a touch of comfort. Some of our most popular dishes are, one, the gumbo, the chicken and waffle, everyone seems to love, and also the catfish, or in Japan they call it namazu fry. It is a mixture of African and French cuisine.
Describe the atmosphere here, especially for someone new coming in.
It's a home away from home.
What's the last thing you do when guests are leaving?
Just a hug. I give them a hug.
U.S. government is like
Latanya cooks. I run the floor and babysit. We have Japanese customers and foreign customers. They're all hungry. Oh yeah, we teach cooking classes and teach them in business. He's learning.
It's one of the few places you can taste the other. I think the food is very carefully prepared, and I really like it.
Yeah, the customer service reminds me of home.
Well, I think that's obvious. The shortest way to Harlem is to come here.
She's like high five to me for ordering that.
It was so juicy and it was like so crabby and crunchy. And it had like the right amount of sauce and it was so good.
So will you see these falls? I can't see me without you, because I can't see me without you. Said I just can't see me without you.
Welcome to another episode of Dad is Not a Noun. My name is Ishmael, changing the narrative for men of color of fatherhood, as well as changing the narrative on the things I care about. And Happy New Year. Today is 2023, so I want to wish everyone a happy New Year. And I'm blessed and honored to have this amazing brother on. He is live and direct from Japan. He is a father. He is a husband. He is a musician. He is the co-owner and founder of the best soul food restaurant in Tokyo, Japan. The name of the restaurant is Soul Food House. I'm truly honored and privileged to have this brother on, the one and only Donald Whitaker. Brother,
David,
coming on. How's your heart, brother?
my heart is good. The name is David.
David, my bad. My bad. I just dropped the ball on introducing this amazing brother.
Hey, no, that's life. That's life. I can't remember everybody's name either. I remember faces, not names all the time.
But how's your heart,
heart
brother? How's your heart,
My
man?
heart is good. I'm looking at my child just waking up, and yeah, the sky's blue outside. I'm feeling blessed.
That's good. Because the reason why I asked that question, because I'm a strong believer of mental health. And as Black men, I want us to be vulnerable and share our stories, the highs and lows. Um, but yeah, just talk about that journey for you as a black man, a father, a husband. What led you to go to Japan?
Um, the simple version is an invitation.
Okay.
So when my wife was in seminary, she made friends with some Japanese pastors, and when they were coming back to Japan, they're like, "Hey, you should come visit." It led to us visiting, then doing a youth mission trip, then becoming missionaries, and now we're because of the same friends. It led to us opening Soul Food House.
Then just talk about that because I know I've listened to past conversations that you had on show, and the two key words I got was passion and relationship. So talk about those two words, passion and relationship.
Well, I mean, a part of the reason I do music is a passion for clarity. And like, I'm a sound engineer because when I was doing music in Japan, you have employees of the club or wherever, and they're not always sound engineers. And folks will be on stage sounding, and the person will just be in the back of the board going, "Are you done with your sound check?" Not trying to get the person clear and able to be heard. So that pushed me into making sure people could be heard. And when it comes to food, the passion is making sure it's right, making sure it's what it's supposed to be. So, yeah, when you travel and you go to places and they're like, yeah, this is the real this. And you go in and you're like, no, no, it's not. I know what the real this is. This and it. You start getting like automatic disappointment in your head when you go places and skepticism. So my passion for music and food is to present the authentic item. And relationship, no, that's everything. Like with business, with music, with anything, if there's not a relationship or a connection that brings you together, it's not going to work. It's a transaction, and transactions are all too common, and they leave you empty when the transaction's done. So the relationship is the highest point of doing business or anything with me.
And that's important too. But how do you apply that at home? Because I know before you do anything, home has to be taken care of first.
Well, Jonas, turn the tablet down. I'm on a call. Well, my relationship with my wife is we started as friends. So trying to understand each other as friends, as parents, as a married couple is important, but also trying to pursue individual pursuits is important. But finding that balance to be able to pursue and support at the same time. With my son, it's trying to get him to understand the relationship between himself and us, himself and other people, as far as him knowing how to protect himself in situations, as far as knowing if somebody is for his good or not, versus somebody that's trying to educate him on something and him not liking it. And yeah, between him and I, he likes to compete with me, which is which is fine. A father and son should compete because it builds character and strength, and he's intelligent enough to adapt and grow and learn through the difficulty. even when he doesn't want to. But teaching him the relationship of emotion and slowing down and thinking about it is it's a fight. It's a fight.
And then also just talk about like we were talking about earlier. How does that apply to like slowing down when it comes to the business aspect of it? Because again, I've listened to like the Renzo's interview with you and your wife, and you talk about like the stages to get to where you guys are at right now when it comes to just having a sustainable business, especially just coming through COVID.
It's the resolve to figure out if it works or not. So with me, I am a firm believer in building a strong foundation in things. So we have the restaurant, and people like within a year were like, "Are you going to open another one? Are you going to franchise?" I'm like, "No, we have to build a firm business first before we can think about anything else." And it was, I think, 5 years before we even got to the point of being near comfortable, not comfortable, but near comfortable in thinking about adding something else to the business platform to do, because if you don't have the proper structure initially, everything else is going to be haywire. And now we have a lounge, and it's still all development.
Right.
Everything is development of making sure you can build the reputation and the image and the expectation of the customers so that you have a standard that you know the customers should expect, and a communication level that they can call you on it if it's not the standard that they know they should be getting. And we just keep with that. We're the only soul food restaurant in Japan. So the standard that we set is the standard that other people have to at least come to qualify to maintain business. And we can't slip, we can't do a halfway or mediocre and expect people to not come along and try sweeping up the people that are like, well, I mean, they did it a little bit better than Soul Food House, so I'm good with that, because they were doing it mediocre and a little bit better. They put a little bit of parsley on top,
Right.
and they smiled at me. So, woo, that's better. All right. It's like, if you don't set the standard to begin and strive to maintain that standard or improve that standard, then it doesn't make the bar you set too high to get over. Like, people could come in with more money, but not the heart and soul of what it's supposed to be. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to waste their money, because people be like, well, it's not what I got at Soul Food House. So, yeah, go on back.
No. It's right on point, because I want to get into, you set those standards, but you set those standards going back to those days when you guys had, I would call it the block party Thanksgiving feast at your crib.
Yeah,
Like, talk about how that began, because that kind
that
of started
began.
everything right there.
Yeah, that's because of our friends that invited us over to begin with. So, like, literally, they're the root of why Soul Food House exists. When we got here, we um, we struggled and had to find a way to get our visa. We came in August. By the time it was October, my wife found a job, and we switched our visa over to my wife switched it to a working visa. I had a dependent visa for 10 years after that, and that's because of no college degree. But when my wife got her job and her visa, friends are like, so Thanksgiving is coming up. Are y'all going to do an American Thanksgiving? They're
Mm.
like, you know what? God has been good. Um, yeah, we can do a Thanksgiving. And we invited the members of the church. I started doing open mics or participating in open mics. So I was inviting folks from the open mic, inviting folks from the community. And that was our first Thanksgiving, but not Thanksgiving in the true sense of Thanksgiving that we're still here.
Right.
Not American Thanksgiving. It's now our Thanksgiving every year because it's 17 years now and we're still here. So every Thanksgiving is literally that. But it started with, my wife says 30, 40 people. I say 70 people.
Okay. Wow.
It it increased to, like, when we were doing the parties at the house, almost 200 people at one point.
Wow.
And now at the restaurant, it's 3 days of three seatings of, so almost 100 people a day.
Wow.
So it's, yeah, it's, yeah, Thanksgiving on the really real.
For real, man. That's amazing that you guys started from being missionaries, helping the community, and now the community's help you to where you guys are at right now. Um, Talk about the importance of the business partner Marcus. Because I remember Ronzo was talking about Marcus a little bit. Do you want to talk
Mar-
about how he played a influence?
Marcus gave us our entrance into actually opening a restaurant. He was an Australian Chinese person, and he was he had his Australian wine and food restaurant that was called 148, but he got terminal brain cancer. So in the midst of his treatments and everything, he was in and out of the hospital. His staff was running the restaurant, but he knew he would pass at some point, and our friends knew we were looking for a place, so they introduced us to him. We talked to him. He liked the concept of what we wanted to do, and we went into partnership together. And he would give us ideas and everything of how to run the business. His staff also were a huge help in getting us a firm basis on how not to waste money doing the business. And but when he passed, he made sure the landlord, the management company, the all the stuff was in place for us to transfer from his business name to our business name. And they had already set the business license up to be in our business name beforehand. So he blessed us in allowing us in to actually start. And we've been in the same place for 7.5 years because of him. We still have the two staff that were his when we came in the partnership. And yeah, they're awesome folks.
Wow.
So, and it gave us the ability to build and provide for people the food that we do,
Wow.
because they also helped enhance our techniques. And yeah, just yes, a blessing. He Man was a genius. Like, still miss him because his level of idea generation was like boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom, boom. It's like there's still some stuff that he mentioned years ago that I still want to get to,
Wow.
like cup brownies and stuff. But yeah, it was a blessing to have met and be graced with the ability to partner with him.
And that's dope because again, it was that trust factor. He trusted you guys, and that just opened the door to the rest of the business community, right?
Yeah, it really did. Now, even some of his old customers now still come back, and they either have gone into different directions, moved back to other countries, or whatever. But when they come back, they're like, "Yeah, this used to be Marcus's place, didn't it?"
Wow.
Okay, I remember when it was at. Y'all, y'all doing all right.
That and that's dope, man. And just talk about that sense of finding your feet in the sand of Japan, because I know it's got to be some times where you've been there for a long time. I know there's still some kind of awkward moments being
There's always awkward
upside
moments. That's the beauty of it. The beauty of being in Japan is deprogramming the American mindset that everyone is against you and
down.
your life is in danger when talking to police.
Mm,
Like you, for me, I get a chance to be me as a music artist, as a creative person, as a business person, because I've done life in the tech field, life doing parts of food, parts of music, and the perspective is appreciated as being an American and as being able to hear other people's opinions and then them wanting to know your opinion on something. And with the food, it's difficult to get into the food industry proper here.
right.
Like it takes a lot. It does take relationship and trust and disappointment and asking questions, getting answers, asking more questions. But when you get in and you've built those relationships that generate trust, people start coming to you and asking questions because they know you may have an answer or know where to get the answer.
Right.
So we get to um, TV programs call us several times a year when there's questions they have when they're doing a program on American food or Southern food. They're like, so we have this and we want to know if it's right. So could you let us know? But we get to deprogram the thinking of people of how American food is. So it's the generic image in Japan a lot of times is hamburgers, hot dogs, steak,
Yep.
maybe pizza, and oh yeah, chicken and waffles are from New York according to them, and New York or California or the South, but nobody really has a firm understanding of where chicken and waffles are from. But they're like they have an image that they think of something. So we really have to be like, okay, no, that's not what it is. This is a bit more. Can you make this super big dish? It's like we don't eat like that.
Right.
I'm not gonna make that because that's
That's
no.
not us. No. And it doesn't it feel good to be on that level as you're more of a teacher because
It's
you're
very much a
teaching that.
blessing. Mhm. It's a blessing, and it takes people out of the thought that we can be stereotyped easily. When you have somebody that is willing to talk to them and correct them instead of just go, yeah, we'll do that, we'll do that. It's like you've told people no,
Right.
not cool. That's not what we do. So I can't do that for you.
And then talk about, because I know on the episode you guys were a part of this manga book of different restaurants.
Yeah, that.
Do you have that
Oh,
book?
this is. I have the book, but it's at the restaurant.
Okay.
Oh, this is the That Is Not a Noun podcast that I'm
Hi.
on. That's my wife asking who I'm talking to.
How you doing?
You say, "How you doing?" She
If you
gave
want
a
to make a
thumbs up.
special appearance, you can make a special appearance if you want to. Because it's about the family.
She's in her thought processes right now.
Okay.
Oh, well, the manga came from a magazine comic strip that we were asked if we could be interviewed for, and they illustrated it out, and it went into Courier magazine in Japan. And then a few months later, they're like, "We're doing a manga book. Can we use your comic strip in the book?"
Wow.
Yeah. And basically, they made a manga of the international restaurants in Tokyo, and we're the ones that represent America.
That's dope.
So, yeah, it's crazy seeing it.
I know it's got to be some bragging rights because you don't see a lot of brothers or sisters in manga books, especially in Japan.
It varies on when it happens, but it's nice to be a part of the representation of America that's not the extreme.
Gotcha. And then uh are you into anime? Do the family watch anime? Are you into Dragon Ball Z?
I've watched all of Dragon Ball Z up to what is it? Dragon Ball is it Dragon Ball Super?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched it all. I've done songs for some of the anime.
Wow.
I still haven't finished watching Attack on Titan, even though I have a song in season 3. That is a long series
It
when
is.
you're not vested in it.
Yeah, you have to be invested into you have to like deprogram yourself and just watch it, because if not, yeah.
Well, it's a lot to process. That one in particular is a whole lot to process because it shows the grayness of interaction.
Yeah.
Because there's not one person in there that you can define clearly as a good guy or a bad guy. They're circumstantially who they are at the moment.
That's so true. And like what came for you personally? Is it the cooking first or is it the music first? What's your first passion? Or are they like a tie?
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Music led way for the food to lead way for more music for the food. Yeah, I think it's music then food, or music then drinks then food.
So music, drink, and food. You can probably make that into a song.
My wife corrected me.
Oh.
Music, food, drinks.
Music, food, drink. Well, you can still make that into a song. Music, food, drinks. That could probably be like a hook to a song or something.
Duly noted. I'll write it down after I get off this call.
And with your son, is he into music? Because I know you said you guys are in competition. So is he into music?
Oh, you can. I'm probably sure I posted videos of him rapping or making a beat or no, he's into music. He was born into it, strapped to me during choir practices in recording sessions. He constantly has music in his head and will randomly start singing songs of his own creation or versions of songs that he heard months ago that he's thinking about now and just putting words to him. Like the other day he was singing "You Too," like still haven't found what I'm looking for. I'm like,
wow,
how you know that song? And my wife's like, no, he's been watching Sing. I'm like, I gotta look at Sing again.
Wow. That's amazing. And then how's his experience been in school in Japan?
He is a popular child who he absorbs, but he does not always show what he's absorbed until it's time to. Then people are like, wow. He's like, I'm like, no, he does that. He's learning the depths of his amazingness and how much he absorbs and knows and can present to the world. He loves attention. He loves being helped. But when left to his own time, when he does it himself, it's like that.
Wow.
When people try forcing him to do things, he's like, and then once he actually gets down the method, he creates his own system a lot of times. But he's an English speaker. He's a Japanese speaker. He draws. He's a gamer. Oh God, he's a gamer. I'm hoping that translates into he's a gamer money.
It might be making his own game. You never know.
I'm trying to get him to that point.
Okay.
Because the world is so fluid at this point that game development is becoming something that a child can start on.
Yeah.
So trying to encourage him to explore it is one thing that I want to do, because it's something that from high school I've wanted to do. And just now in my 40s, I'm starting to actually make attempts at to build games, because it's now more understandable and accessible to be able to do on visual programming and scripting, and it's a transferable, monetizable skill.
Right.
Whether you do it for fun or do it for money, it's something that when you learn to do, it's an amazing process of bringing to life something that's in your head.
Right.
So I want him to be able to bring to life the things that are in his head that can be played, can be displayed to show who he is.
And I think that's important to every kid. And I think that's the one thing, you know, just just parents in general, is that these are the tools that you want your kids to have while they're still learning and still trying to figure out who they are. Which I have a conversation with you right now, brother. Like your son know who he is.
He he knows who he is, and he's still learning who he is at the
Right.
same time,
Mm,
which realistically should be everyone.
yeah.
You should never know yourself to the point that you don't realize you can do more or be something different. So for me, I know who I am. I know there's also more things that I want to become and have become without realizing it. And the journey and the joy is exploring what has been, what is, and what can be. And to get to that point, there's a playfulness after a while. So like I make drinks, but the point is not making alcoholic drinks. The point when I'm making it for a customer is to provide something that they can enjoy. It's not about getting them drunk. I can do that easily, but creating something that suits them to the point that they're happy is a far greater goal than anything else. When I'm making something, I'm not thinking about the end result necessarily. I mean, I don't want it to suck,
Right.
but I want to have fun doing it. Or I want the labor that went into it to be appreciated at least by me.
That's so true. And then also I love how you kind of intertwine your passion for music, making drinks and food, because the process is the same.
It is like for me, it breaks down to a conversation. All of it is a conversation. Music, food, drinks, it's literally a conversation between yourself, the ingredients, and whoever's receiving it. And not all conversations are for everyone, and that's fine. But when you find the conversation that's right, oh, it's so right.
And this
It's
just
like, yes.
as a creator, like what is that feeling when someone's jamming to your music, or like tasting your drink, and like, or eating your food? What's that emotion or that high for you when you see that from a distance?
It's not something that can always be explained
Um,
because you don't always know the point at which they've reached elation or satisfaction with it. So you you can't judge the moment right then because you don't know when that moment for them is. Because there's been people that have come up to me years after I've done something and been like, that thing you did back then, that touched my soul.
wow.
Like, wait, what did I do? I don't. The reality is, you don't. We're moving pieces to a puzzle that's not complete. So the things we do, we don't always realize we have done that have affected somebody. So it's for me. I don't, as a creative person, I don't have a work retirement plan per se.
Right.
Because the second I stop doing something that's creative, guess what? There's another creative thing that I'm probably starting on while I'm stopping.
Facts. So true.
And when I pass, I hope I'm still doing something creative to the very end, to the point that they're like, somebody else wants to pick it up and finish it and carry on. So my retirement is more work. The reward for good work is more work. And sleep is a good thing. Sleep is a good thing, but the reward for good work is more work
That's right. That's so true.
and rest sometimes.
You gotta get rest because if not, you're gonna burn yourself out. And if you burn
Yeah.
yourself out, you no good to yourself or anybody. But before we end this amazing conversation, because I can talk to you for another 2 hours, but I know I can't do that. But tell me a scenario where someone just came up to you and said, "Thank you, just thank you for bringing home, bringing that good old food that I miss." Like,
About the last 2 weeks or so that the restaurant was open before we took break for the holiday, there were at least 3 or 4 people that just were like, "Thank you for existing."
wow,
I'm like, you realize the depth of that statement? Not just having good food, existing, period. It, yeah, that's a blessing to the heart.
wow,
Like the when we were in America one time, back visiting family, we were in Dollar Tree and got to the counter to ring up stuff, what we were buying. The cashier was like, "Wait, you're Latanya Whitaker. That means that's David Whitaker. I saw you all in the Black in Japan documentary, and that was amazing to me." We're like, huh? Oh, ooh, oh, it's happened only. Well, no, it's happened several times early on when I was still hosting an open mic in Shibuya. I was hosting one night. This group of ladies comes in. I'm speaking on the microphone, about to introduce somebody else to go on stage. This girl yells out, "You're David Whitaker. You're the one that did Four Seasons. I've been listening to that song every day since until I came to Japan." I'm like, What?
wow,
Like, my friend who produced one of my songs sent it to a girl in Jamaica
wow,
whose name is Monique Dehaney. And before she came to Japan, she was listening to my song.
wow.
And when she came into the open mic, she realized who I was. I was shocked. I'm like, huh?
What?
You mean my music has been residing in Jamaica?
Wow.
And you're here screaming about my music? Ooh, whoa. Okay. Yeah. You. The reality is, you never know where you'll be to someone else or with someone else, because we are more than just a single being now that everything is digital.
Yeah,
Like, who knows where this interview will be?
yeah.
And somebody will run up on you like, "Wait a minute, I saw you with all them interviews of Dad is Not a Now." Man.
Wow, and that's so true, brother. And it's just crazy how the universe works itself out and how it works. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't for Renzo interviewing you, I wouldn't even know you guys existed. And when I saw you guys the first time, I'm like, yes, yes. This is before I had a podcast. I'm like, I'm going to I'm going to meet them, whether if I'm going to go to Japan or have a podcast. And look, I have a podcast and I'm talking to you and you're sharing your story with me. And like, this is like the best New Year. Like seriously, this is the best way to start my New Year's 2023. It's talking to you and you sharing your story.
Oh man, my mentor used to say, "There's too much knowledge in the grave." So anytime I get a chance to share, that's a blessing because that's not leaving the information to myself. Like the reality is, now it was a blessing. You like, I have a podcast. Can I talk to you? Like, I see no reason why not.
I appreciate
I
that.
mean, the TV stations will run up on me and be like, "Can we interview you?" I'm like, "I got time. What you need to know?" So why would I not do that to let other folks know that there's more. Like, did I just turn the camera?
No,
Okay, there
you're
we go. There we
good.
go.
But man, this has been an amazing interview. Thank you so much. How can people find your music? Just how can they find the the restaurant? Break it all down, man. And is there new music coming out soon? Is there an album coming out?
There
What
is
you got
new
going?
music coming out soon. Like to find me, you do David Whitaker or Love Made Music, and yeah, that's me. The restaurant Soul Food House. Like if you type in the 3 words Soul Food House in Google, you will find us. And when you come to Japan, just type in Soul Food Japan, and you'll probably catch us on the first run.
'Cause you're on the sixth floor, right? You're still on the sixth floor.
Yeah, sixth floor. Don't look at the street level. Look up. Look up. God did it.
Right. That's right. That's right, man. But again, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Man,
It
this
is a
has been
pleasure.
a humble experience to start the new year,
Me as
2023, man.
well.
This has been an honor. Oh my God. I don't know. I'm like a fan right now, a big fan right now. So let me calm myself down, man. But again, all the links and everything will be in the description below.
Okay.
Again, this has been an amazing Dad is Not a Noun interview. Got more to come in
When I
2023.
restart up my podcast, I'm gonna have you on it.
Okay. I got this recorded, so
Yeah, it's called My Black. So yeah,
nice.
we gonna have conversations of just who we are, not
Facts.
about blackness, but who we are, because folks need to see we're not a monolith.
That's right.
Just like dads are not a noun.
That's right. And that's what it's all about, man. And we're out. Peace.
All right, peace.